Hi yogis, just start to lean the body forward into a gentle forward fold, not pushing all the way to your maximum edge, but instead just gently allowing the body to open up slowly. We're going to be here for a few minutes, so just let yourself soften into the posture. Allow any tension, any tightness from the legs to dissolve. And allow the neck and head to relax and soften, curling in towards yourself, feeling into the moment. How does your body feel? How is your breath? Using this opportunity to curl inwards, quietening the outside world so that you can really tune in to your inner world and listen to what it has to say. As we stay in the posture, you might notice that the body slowly starts to open up a little bit more. Maybe gravity takes hold and you sink a little bit deeper. In this posture, you're opening up the entire back line of the body, stretching the lower back, the back of the legs, the back of the hips, also stretching along the spine into the neck. A full body, relaxing, rejuvenating stretch. Just take in your last couple of breaths in this posture. And then slowly beginning to rise to upright. Lifting the neck and head last. And then just finding a pause before slowly turning to come back onto your back. This time crossing the left ankle over the right knee, coming into a figure of 4. And you can interlace your fingers behind the back of the right thigh, or you can simply press the right foot against your sofa or a bed or the wall so that you can really relax the upper body. And just focus this stretch purely on the outer left hip. You might also be feeling it into the glutes. It can be quite an intense stretch, especially if you're holding tightness in this area. So just soften yourself into the posture. As with all of our yin postures, the body will gently open up over time. And all we need to do is allow that gentle opening to happen. You can keep your arms by your sides or reach them up over the head into a cactus shape. Sinking the back of the chest into the ground. And now we're just going to slowly start to drop the left foot over to the right. Maybe using the right hand to push the left knee away, deepening the stretch. And reaching your left arm in a diagonal to the right hip, coming into a kind of half S shape. And you'll feel this stretch a little bit more in the left hip, maybe into the IT band. Just a different variation of the stretch, working into a slightly different part of the body, but still focusing on the hip area. Just take in a couple more breaths in this posture. And then slowly starting to bring the legs back through center, unhooking the left ankle. And just taking a pause before we move to the other side. Dropping the knees in towards each other, allowing the feet to be slightly wider than the hips. The back of the hips settling onto the ground before we move to the other side. And then just beginning to shift, this time bringing the right ankle over the left knee, pressing the left foot into your sofa or a wall or your bed, or maybe interlacing the fingers behind the back of the left thigh, coming back into that figure of 4, this time focusing on the right glute and hip, and then just allowing yourself to settle into this posture. Again, just deciding whether to keep the arms down by the sides or maybe bringing them back into a cactus shape, allowing the back of the shoulders to settle and open and soften on the ground as the chest opens up. And just take in another couple of soft breaths before dropping that right foot over to the left, using the left hand to push the right knee away, and maybe reaching the right arm in a diagonal up over the head to deepen the stretch, this time working into the front of the right hip. And then just slowly start to bring the legs back through center, drop the knees in towards each other, bring the feet apart, maybe reaching the arms up over the head and just taking this nice rebound, this pause in between the postures. And use this opportunity to reflect on whether you allow yourself to pause in life as well as on the mat. Before gently transitioning back up into a seated position, maybe grabbing some yoga blocks or some books, as I have done, and then placing them at the top of the mat, making your way into a child's pose, placing the hands onto the blocks, taking the knees out as wide as the mat, and sinking the hips back towards the heels. Again, this is a really nice posture for opening up through the lower back. And at the same time, you're working into the lung meridian lines that run underneath the armpits into the sides of the body and all the way up the arms. And we're going to be here for a couple of minutes, just allowing ourselves to soften here. And with the forehead pressing into the mat, we get the added benefit of a solid presence on the third eye, bringing some calm to the racing thoughts that we often experience in the mind. Just take in another couple of breaths in this posture before gently beginning to rise back to upright, sitting back onto the heels for a moment, taking that time to pause, reflect, observe how you feel. And then we're going to shift into a toe stand, so just curling the toes under and sitting back onto the heels. And this can be a really intense posture for the feet and the toes. So if you do need to come out of it by leaning forward or Just placing the hands onto the ground, lessening the intensity. And feel free to do that. But see if you can stay with it for a moment or two. Breathing into the feet, allowing yourself to feel into this intensity. And then when you're ready, leaning forward, tapping the tops of the feet onto the mat. And then sitting back onto the heels and lifting the knees, stretching the toes and the tops of the feet. It should feel like quite a nice release after the toe stand. And then just gently releasing from the posture, grabbing hold of your yoga blocks or the books again. And this time we're going to bring them underneath the sacrum. Taking the legs out straight, allowing the feet to softly drop open to the sides, coming into your psoas release. So you'll feel this stretch across the tops of the hips, maybe into the thighs, into the lower belly. Relax the hands, relax the face, and just allow yourself to melt down to the ground. From here, begin to hug the right knee in towards the chest, wrapping the fingers around the right shin. And just gently reaching the big toe of the left foot further away from the body. And you'll feel a really nice, deeper version of this stretch all the way through the top of the left hip. Opening up the front of the body where we often hold a lot of our tightness, especially if we spend a lot of our time sitting down at a desk or in a car. And then just releasing the right leg, hugging the left knee in towards the chest, and wrapping the fingertips around the shin. This time reaching the big toe of the right foot away from the body, and deepening that stretch across the front of the right hip. And then just releasing both legs down to the ground. Move the blocks or the books from underneath the hips and come into your Supta Baddha Konasana, your reclined butterfly. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Maybe bringing one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. Just feeling the inner thighs and the hips opening here in this posture. Using the hands to draw the knees together, roll to one side, and then make your way either onto your back for Shavasana or into a cross-legged position as if you're in a meditation seat. And you can stay here now for as long as you need to, relaxing, releasing, noticing the sensations in the body, the calming of the mind, the gentleness of the breath.